I think what's become a signature of Fallout is the bloody, gory violence paired with the lighthearted, happy 50s jazz music, and
Yeah.
that juxtaposition works so well.
Mm.
I'm curious why you guys think that that contrast makes those scenes in some way more epic.
Walton, you can take that.
I mean, they stand in direct contrast to one another,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, it's uh, potatoes go or maybe broccoli goes down better with cheese. I don't know.
That's
You
true.
have to have, yeah, it's, two things that stand in contradiction that contradict each other, sometimes just make it taste better.
It is the thing that makes me, when I watch those scenes, it really makes me feel like I am inside of a video game.
Yes. Yes.
It really does.
It's so fun, and I think it reminds you that our approach to violence as a show is somewhat heightened in I don't want to say cartoony, but certainly exaggerated and heightened. So I think it helps with we give the audience permission to enjoy it rather than find it. I mean, like some of what we do is absolutely horrific, and yet we hope that it's more of a shock laugh reaction than like, oh my God. I think the music contributes to that. It was very interesting, actually. People in our post team who weren't familiar with the games, they were like, "Is this music right for this scene?" Like they were very like, "We're like," and I was like, "Are you kidding? This is like the most integral music to the game. How could you ask this preposterous question?" But it's yes, whether you've played the game or not, you have a very different response, I think.
If the Fallout universe were real and you guys were headed into the vaults as yourselves, and you could only bring one record with you, which one would you choose?
That's a great question.
Only one record.
Oh, Songs in the Key of Life, Stevie Wonder.
Because I debate this between Zep 4 or Zep 1. If I could bring their entire canon, that would be really fun.
Enchanted Evening from Jonah's first episode. We listened to it so many times in the edit that it was a song I was really attached to, and now I've just like heard it a few too many times. I actually think I would leave it on the surface very intentionally.
Beggar's Banquet or Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, the soundtrack by Bob Dylan.
Okay. I really was in love with Cowboy Carter. I am like a big country fan and Beyonce fan, and that's the most recent album that I think I listened to on repeat, the whole album. I really liked the storytelling. So I think just in that it's so entertaining and there's so many different kinds of songs on that album, it would keep me me mentally occupied in the vault, you know?
I heard that you have an extensive record collection.
I do collect. I am a collector.
Oh my gosh.
I love the joy of digging and finding.
There have been so many great song drops this season, even from the video game. Big Iron was a huge one that fans were going crazy over. Uranium Fever, just to name a few.
Yeah.
Have any of these songs, or even 50s music in general, made their way into your playlist because of the show?
There's a couple that are on my son's playlist, actually. Yeah, that he's found that were on there with him having no knowledge of Fallout, and
Wow,
they'd come
right.
up on the show, and I went like, oh wait, I've heard this song before. I think it's on Callum's playlist. That's crazy.
No
That's
way.
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes, they really have. And I don't know, they bring me some kind of like soothing, like peace almost.
Totally.
I don't know. I don't know what it is about the music of that time. I didn't grow up listening to it. But I knew some of the songs. But yeah, like K-Star her music has made its way into my playlist. I'm listening to more like Nat King Cole lately.
So many of these music from this era was already in my playlist. That's kind of what I put on whenever I have like, people over a version of this. When I listen to music, I see it visually. My first question with Graham, when we really kind of got into it, was, okay, what's the parameters for music? And he said, just, everything, anything kind of before Phil Spector, but really before this one particular instrument was introduced. And I said, I got a song, man. Then it was Act Naturally by Buck Owens for season
No
one.
way.
And it was like, okay, that's a needle drop.
I made a playlist for Steph very
No way.
specifically because I really like music's part of my prep. So when I play a specific character, I make a playlist like that I think the character would like. And
Really?
yeah, and I had a lot of like 50s music on there, like that song like Sunshine and Lollipops and Rainbows and like a lot of 50s hits sort of mixed with some like darker, spookier, like Billie Eilish kind
Ooh,
of thing.
sinister.
But I think something that moved me when we were watching, I think it was Seven, was, I don't know the name of the song, but the one that's like, like it
the
was the
scary
really
one?
scary one where people
Yeah.
are screaming.
We had a sort of an informal rule. Obviously, we're drawing music from the games. We talked a little bit about choosing music only from that period just before the kind of famous wall of sound moment in production in the late 1960s, right? After that moment, music it sounds sophisticated, but it doesn't sound innocent anymore.
Yeah.
And there is something about the music, the sort of pre-1965, pre-wall of sound, slightly less filtered, slightly less produced, that evokes that kind of innocence that I think that world from before, which is anything but innocent, right? But it has that idea of what's been lost and sits in this kind of stark, ironic contrast to what you're looking at.
I mean, Jonathan Nolan knows what the he's doing. This is an all tours experience, meaning that this is not made by amateurs. And I don't mean that disparagingly. All of it's shot on film. It is meant to be cinematic. These shots are designed as if we don't know that it's on television or not on television. This is we're making this for theaters, and so the everything about the experience is tactile. It is analog when it can be, and these needle drops speak to that experience, and they were also baked into the DNA of the game. They're there from the beginning, so we had a
nostalgic.
Yeah, they are. In a fallen world, what else we got?
Music isn't the only thing. Obviously, there's a lot of comic relief, the funny one-liners. I think my favorite was the "she's Canadian" from these past 2 episodes. Do you guys have a favorite kind of comic relief one-liner from this season?
I think anything that Dave Register says as Chet is like my favorite line.
The quirky
so-
old school.
He's so funny,
so funny.
and acting with him, like I can't tell you the number of times I just break because he says these lines and he's so earnest and delightful.
It's a great imitation.
Yes, well, I've worked with him quite a bit at this point. So yeah, really anything Dave says is Chet.
I feel like Thaddeus is a favorite character of mine for that reason. You can give Johnny Pemberton any line and he'll make it hilarious. But I'm glad you like that Chet and Steph moment because we're very excited by how strangely timely that storyline has proven to be.
As a Canadian, it was like it really hit the shock factor and the humor of it all.
A little too close to home.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I'm sorry if I worked the music angle. There's just so much to talk about.
There's
Hey,
so
that's
much to talk
a better
about.
angle. That's fantastic.
It's great.
Yeah.